It's saying we are live.
Sweet.
Give it a couple minutes. Yeah. How are you doing, good sir?
I'm doing all right, man. How are you?
I am living the dream as long as you don't wake me up.
Well, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, and 17 should be joining us here in a little bit. Honest is out tonight, but we're going to have some fun and take a bunch of questions. And then I've got a line of questions here for the chat room, and we're going to see if we can stir up some stuff.
Awesome.
So anything fun and exciting going on?
No, nothing terribly exciting. Just kind of moving along one day after the next.
Yeah, about the same here.
Yeah.
So, but all right, I'll go ahead and ask the first question. And these are fun, okay, because we don't have to take everything so seriously. But, we're all familiar with movies, but people who have, I love the Deadpool movies. Other people might not like it, or some people might like it. But, okay, we know what Deadpool shoots in his movies. Of course, it's it's the Desert Eagle. But what gun, like for the next Deadpool, would you like to see other than a Desert Eagle him shoot?
I would say a Taurus G2C. That would be very, very cool.
Okay.
No, I don't know, man. That's a good question. I think it'd be pretty cool if it was dueling Shadow 2s, but
Yeah.
I don't know. He's all about the Desert Eagle. That's kind of his thing. So I don't know, man.
I just thought it would be cool. But let's see here. Okay, a couple of people probably haven't seen it. Okay, we've got X5 Legion. Hang on, Pistol Pete. That's one of the questions. Is John Wick? But okay, a high point. Daniel says he wants to see him shoot some high points. He could have that could be the first movie that shoots the yeet cannons.
Yeah, right.
He could have some dueling yeet cannons. All right, now we're all familiar with James Bond. We know what he carries. We know all that. What would you like to see? I guess the new James Bond is going to be a lady, but what would you like to see James Bond carry more modernized?
James Bond should not be a lady. No offense to anyone. Actually, I think it'd be really cool if he had a CZ-P01 or something like that.
Yeah, and see, what I was thinking is like a stainless CZ-75 or a stainless P01. That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be different.
Have it like pop out that stainless. I was like, that'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah. Rabbi said CZ Ramy. That would be a good idea as well.
Yeah, but if it's a James Bond with a decent hand size, good luck with that.
Well, that's true.
But that's a good one. Wilson Combat EDC X9.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see like a high end, something high end, maybe even like a Dan Wesson or something like that. That'd be kind of cool.
Something bejeweled.
Yeah, exactly. Bedazzled. Okay, now here we go. John Wick 4. What pistols or what should he run in that one?
I think it'd be really weird if he had a revolver of some sort or another, some crazy revolver. I don't know. I mean, that would be really weird. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think the Combat Master was sort of the tip of the iceberg. So I don't know.
See, what I would like to see him do, now he's done, all the regular iron sight guns, but what I'd like to see is like a couple of, Shadow 2s, maybe even stainless Shadow 2 optic readies or something like that. And maybe like the rifle be a Bren 2 auto or something, just something kind of different.
I see a lot of CZ theme going on there.
Yeah, exactly. Just kind of, well, he's ran with the Glocks before and he's been with the Benellis and now the STIs. So I thought it would just be cool to have, like a CZ theme, him running a bunch of stuff.
Oh, Range Randy says Smith & Wesson 50. That would be like a 500. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, imagine him pulling that big old sucker out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And, I don't know if you've kept up with it, but we have Bad Boys for Life. That's Will Smith, Martin Lawrence. If you've ever watched any of the Bad Boys, back in the day, they all ran with Glocks. So, Will Smith was like the dapper guy and stuff, and Martin Lawrence was kind of the, regular guy. What would you like to see them run in that new movie?
They're pretty straightforward as far as that goes. I mean, I think they would probably stick with the same stuff. I can't necessarily see them doing something really weird.
Yeah, and I can't either. I was thinking, since they're cops and stuff, or detectives, I was thinking they're probably going to go with Glocks, but I was like, it might be kind of cool if they ran some optic ready stuff. Even if it's a Glock optic ready,
right?
Little kind of little different.
And Dennis Jones says the noisy cricket. That's a good idea.
Yeah. But that was kind of some little ideas. Matter of fact, Harry even thought of some of those. But
now
just something a little different.
Now, Screaming Skull Saloons said, what about the Lago or whatever it is?
Lago Arms.
The alien. That would be pretty cool.
That would be really cool. I could see like Wick or somebody, or even Deadpool doing that gun. But, another cool gun that I'm thinking about it from Deadpool would be, remember the Bruno?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That freaking $8,000, CZ clone thing. That'd be pretty cool too.
Right. Now, Scott is saying dual SIG X compacts. Now, I could see something like that for Bad Boys.
Yeah. They might do the SIGs. They just can't drop them, but they might run those. Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know. I'll go ahead and show this. This is from Harry, the Humble Marksman, and I have some cool stuff coming up with the G2 and myself.
G3.
Or G3, I'm sorry. Yeah, we're going to be having a little fun with that.
Nice.
So, but I kind of, like some of those shows. And even like if you go way back, like the old Dirty Harry and stuff, like if they ever redid Dirty Harry, rather than having like a 44 Magnum or something, I think it'd be kind of cool to, for him to have a more modern type gun if they ever redid it.
Yeah, once again, that is one of those movies that they should not touch. Leave it alone. It was fine the way it was. Move on. Go on to the next thing, Yeah,
and hopefully, they won't. I'm just saying if they ever redid it or was like, hey, here's the new Dirty Harry. Because, man, I tell you what, if you've seen his son looks exactly like him.
I believe it.
Mean, it's freakishly like how close they look alike. But anyway, is there anything, that you've been seeing on and, seeing anything coming up exciting in the gun world? I haven't really seen anything blowing my socks off.
No, nothing. Zilch, zero. I've had some people ask me if I'm going to do the Masada. That has not been on the radar for me. In fact, really right now, nothing is on the radar. There are a couple of things I know potentially coming out in the future that I'm curious about, but no, I've just been shooting what I have right now, and it's been absolutely delightful. And just going back and revisiting some things just for fun and just experiencing the range and not cameras or anything like that. And that's been quite therapeutic. So nothing is on the radar. I mean, I was curious about the Masada. I really was, but enough reviews have come out and it seems like it's good, but nothing terrifically great. And that's what I kind of needed to hear. Okay, I'm good with that. I can move on with my life. I don't really need to experience that.
Yeah, when I was able to shoot it, I shot one mag through it, and it's a nice trigger. It does have a longer reset, but it's not bad. The sights suck. It did not have a red dot on it when I shot it, but I think with the red dot on it, it could be. I think for the price that you're paying for it, and IWI makes good stuff, with the Tavors and stuff. But I think it's actually a pretty good gun for what you're paying for it. It needs some stippling, but you can do that to the gun. And I did shoot it with a large backstrap, so I was glad about that. It kind of reminds me of a less expensive P10F. That's kind of what it reminds me of.
Yeah. So, and I really like the P10F. It's a great gun. So, you can get the optics ready and everything. So the Masada has a lot of bells and whistles, and the price point is absolutely fantastic. And it seems like right now people are really enjoying it. Nobody's really panned it or anything like that too much. So it's doing what it needs to do. So I appreciate that about it very much. But it doesn't. It's not one of those things where I feel like, oh my gosh, I have to get my hands on it or anything like that. I just don't.
Yeah, and after I shot it, I was like, if I didn't have carry optic guns or carry optic ready, I was like, this is a great option. It really is for someone just to go out and get into it very inexpensively. Now, I don't know, and I kind of looked at the mags, but I didn't stare at them to see if like they're compatible with any common mag. I don't know if it's just their mag only. That I don't know, and I don't even know how much their mags are. So I don't know if they're going to be like. I wouldn't expect they would be really expensive, but I haven't checked the price on them to see if they're available and how much they are or any of that. So.
Right. Rabbi was saying he's got a Tavor. His Tavor is well made. It's not a good rifle, but it's well made. I mean, it seems like IWI makes really good quality stuff, but it's nothing terrifically pretty. Now, I'd actually really like a Tavor as well. That'd be pretty sweet. But it's kind of that same consensus all the way around.
Yeah, and I like the Tavors too. I think they're really cool. M. Jackson is saying his only concern about the Masada is the polymer optic plates. He would worry about the longevity. Well, what's going on with the optic plates is they're actually kind of spacers because the screws actually screw down into the frame, so they don't screw into the polymer plates. The polymer plates just kind of act as a spacer. So I really don't think they're going to have issues with that. Just seems like, honestly, kind of an inexpensive way that other people might start copying it. So I think it's going to hold up pretty well. I don't know that for sure, but that's just, it was my opinion and someone else's that they should be okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure they probably will. Now, real quickly, Hurt One had a quick point. The new P10 triggers just don't feel as good to me. Maybe I got a hold of one that just had an irregular trigger, since tolerances seem to be to vary so much on polymer guns. And I would say, the P10s, I've got the P10C and the P10S, both of the new whatever series, and the triggers seem fine to me. I would agree they probably aren't as light as the original ones, but I feel like they're pretty good. Now, one thing you could try, I've done with mine, I've actually taken them completely apart, cleaned them up. I haven't really polished them, but just a real thin layer of good quality grease and put them back in. And that seems to help immensely. And they feel actually really good. Yeah.
My P10C, all of them feel really good. The F feels good now, but they've got a lot of rounds through them. So it's probably naturally worn in. And usually when I lube it, down in the spring, that little trigger spring that's right there, I'll put just a drop, of oil on it, just a tad. So that might have helped with the break-in, but and I know that they make the HB Industry triggers, and honestly, haven't you tried one of those?
Which one?
The HB trigger or the HB Industry for P10?
Multiple, and my P10 has an HB Industries in it. Okay. The P10S does not.
Yeah. Do you really notice? And I don't really have an experience with them, but do you notice a huge difference, like a better with that, or are they still kind of the same?
They're basically the same. I mean, I think that trigger is probably a little bit more comfortable. It's got just a little bit better face to it. But I haven't noticed that it really changes the geometry or the pull or anything like that. So I think it's worth getting if that's something that you're into, but it's not going to dramatically change the gun, because remember, it's only the shoe. That's all it is. Everything else stays the same. So anytime you're only changing out the shoe, with the exception of maybe Apex, especially with their Glock, even more so than their Smith & Wessons, those are the only shoes that I really notice actually change the pull a little bit. It shortens everything, both the pull and the reset a little bit. But most of those trigger shoes, they make it maybe a little bit more comfortable, but that's about it. And then, of course, you guys have to be careful with that when you're changing out, parts, especially shoes, that sort of thing, because you want to make sure the safety still engages and all that kind of stuff. So enter at your own risk there. But still, HB Industries, they do a good job, and they've sold buckets of those things.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know on the Scorpion, the HB trigger really does make a huge difference on that one. So, but I mean, I really kind of like the P10 trigger, so I really haven't had any issues with them or like, oh my gosh, I've got to change them. But I know some people, wish they were better. So I guess it's just kind of whatever you get used to.
Right. Very true.
Yeah, and there's 17's joining us. Let me grab him here.
Hello.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Yourselves, gentlemen?
Good. How are you?
All right.
Hello. Hey, everybody.
All right. See, he is here. Everybody was wondering if you were going to make it.
Yeah. So I was watching. So
good. But anything new in your world?
Yeah, I got no guns yet.
Awesome. Very
Yeah.
good.
So, I'm not going to get too much into it. I talk about it too much as it is, but you guys know the situation. I mean, right now the Masada is going on about 2 months out.
Jeez.
The Phantom is about the same. So I don't really know where to go with it, to be honest with you. It's frustrating. I mean, it is what, I don't know what else to do. I really don't. I can't say enough that I think that's the most frustrating part, is because there's no recourse. There's no way to change it. And it's just frustrating the hell out of me. But I did put in a couple of more coupon requests this week. So, I put in for the Inox, the Beretta 92 FS Inox. Beautiful gun, man. Just friggin' beautiful. What else did I put in? Oh, I got the APX, the RDO, which I'm pretty excited about, but I've just realized there's one drawback to that gun, but I don't want to tell you what it is just yet. And then, gosh, what's the other one? I've been like going
starts
crazy.
with a P.
The P01 green?
Yeah.
No, I think there's one other.
Oh,
it is. There's a P229. So,
Okay.
but it's an older one. It's a Dark Elite, so it's kind of got the crappy rear sight, but whatever. I'm okay with it. It's my first SIG 2229, and it was a used one. It was a good price. But I did get that P01 green finally.
Nice.
Super happy. I'm going to tell you guys right now, this thing behind me here is very almost empty. Like, put it that way. I sold a lot of guns to get some new guns. So, to put it bluntly, I currently only own right now in my possession 2 striker fired pistols.
Wow.
So with the Masada, that'll be a third one. And then obviously the RDO will be a fourth one, but I actually went and just cleaned house. I'm just trying to change. I think, one of the things I'm thinking about right now is there's such an evolution with everything, and even my taste in guns and firearms is changing quite a bit. So I've moved a lot away from just the plastic polymers, although you can't ever discount them. I mean, they're always going to be there. But I've noticed that I'm getting more into the metal guns, more into the hammer-fired guns. And I'll be honest with you, man, I've been having a really good time shooting them, carrying them. I just have a greater respect for those metal guns now. Yeah, they're heavier. Yeah, they're a little bulkier. But, I can handle it.
There's something about when you take those things to the range, that makes all the difference in the world. They're just that much more fun to shoot. And I think a lot of times they make you look like a better shooter than you are. So, it's a great experience.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I mean, it's just a lot of fun,
like I've said in the past, double action, single action, I think teaches you better trigger discipline when you're working the double action and the single action, rather than just a striker fire where it's just a constant all the time. And there's nothing wrong with striker fire. Right. I just think they're a little more challenging and a little more fun, to work with.
Yeah, and I sometimes you just need that change, and it's been fun. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I've had to say goodbye to a lot of really good guns that I've really enjoyed, and right now I have no more Glocks. They're all gone. I've got no more Steyrs. They're all gone.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, I got rid of both of them.
Wow.
Yeah. Look, but you know what? The Steyr, the last one I had was the M9, and I said I just can't get rid of this gun. It's so good, it's so good. But then I walked in and I saw that Beretta 92, Inox, and I said, "Holy Christ, that is the gun that I want." I mean, it was in such good condition. The guy never shot it. It's just beautiful, and the fact that it had all stainless controls on, I'm like, I'm in. I don't care. I'll sell whatever I have to.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
So hopefully it doesn't suck.
You still have both of your Taurus curves, right?
Oh yeah, I got both of those. I carry those in my boots.
I'm just checking.
Yeah, those will never go away.
Okay, all right.
And I haven't heard anything from Caracol, so it's been almost 2 full weeks now. So
wow, surprise.
That's not.
Well,
good
they
news.
probably moved it to the right of the desk to hold down those papers. Now to the left of the desk to hold down those papers.
Right.
So Daniel God is my judge, saying I'm growing up and now I need to get a CZ. Daniel, have you followed my channel, sir?
Yeah. Right.
So yeah, and then when I saw the P01, and the best part of the P01 was I was the only person who bid on it. And it was brand new, supposedly. And I talked to the guys that said it was actually a brand new gun. The guy bought it and then brought it back. And it was never shot. It was never fired. So I was like, awesome. Wow. So that one cost me a little bit more than I wanted to pay, but it was around the same price as a brand new, Omega, which was, in my opinion, that's good.
Yeah.
So, and I don't mind saying it. I paid $599 for that gun.
Wow.
And,
that is a good deal.
They're so rare.
Yeah. And that's why I was like, fuck it. I'm all in.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't blame you. I would do the exact same thing.
Well, Logan is giving you a nice greeting.
What did he say?
It's on the screen. You got rid of your stars, you idiot.
Listen, but the reason how I rationalize this in my brain was that I am waiting for the release of the M in the new generation. So I'm okay with it. I was going to sell them anyway to get the new M when it came out. This gives me some time because it's not going to be released till 2020. So I'm okay with it. So everybody, I got plans, guys. I got plans.
Yeah. And like I've said a long time ago, if it's a gun that you can go out and buy today, why? I mean, you don't really need to hoard that gun because unless that's just a gun you really, really love. And I mean, I'm one to talk. I have 2 and 3 of some of these same ones, but I know those are guns I'm personally never going to get rid of. But if it's one that you could just go out and buy, and it means you getting something that is kind of like, impossible to find, hey man, do it.
Right. Yeah. And the Inox isn't impossible necessarily, but they're very pricey. And I'm going to tell you right now, I did not pay anywhere near what the gun was really worth. And,
matter of fact, I was talking to Harry, and I think he said he's seen some go for $1,100.
Well, it's just the controls. And I missed out on, remember I was telling you about that Colt. So I don't like revolvers, but they had a Colt revolver, and it was either stainless or it was nickel. I don't know which one it was, but it was a detective special, 38 special. I don't even know what year it was made, but I could kick myself because I didn't get back in time to put some money down. I would have put money down. It was a beautiful gun, great shape again, the same guy. I guess he's dying of cancer, so he's selling all of his stuff off, which is kind of a shame.
Yeah.
But I didn't get back fast enough, so somebody bought it. So I started looking on Gunbroker to see what they were worth. They were going for like $1,100 on Gunbroker, and I'm like, God damn it, I should have jumped on that gun too. So, oh well, win some, lose some.
Yeah. And I've done it before too. You're looking at it and you're like, man, I need to get that. You go back the next day and you're like, so
it happens. But it's been kind of fun, just kind of changing up the thing a little bit. But the unfun part is I know there's going to be an extremely long wait. The sheriff claims that he's going to be talking to all of the judges. I don't know what the results were or are, or even if it even happened. But I do know for a fact that one judge is refusing to sign completely because, long story short, he signed an amendment for somebody else. Guy went out, took his new gun, shot his father, and then killed himself. So the judge now is, quote unquote, and this is what he's actually told my friend Frank, that he's scared to sign any more amendments. And it just so happens, I believe he's the one who has mine. So they've been sitting there for 2 months now.
So you're gonna be penalized for a crazy guy's.
Yeah, it is a shame, man. It's a definite shame. So, like I said, it's frustrating because there's really nothing. I don't know what else to do. I certainly am not going to hire a lawyer, but if anybody knows any gun lawyers out there, let me know.
Yeah, I mean, here's Harry. He's saying he saw a ghost on Gunbroker for $1,100, and it wasn't in the best shape, and the auction still has a couple of hours left.
That's crazy. I mean, this thing is in pristine shape. I mean, it just needs to get cleaned up because some of the whatever he was using to store the guns kind of caked a little bit on certain parts of the gun. So I'm going to clean that bad boy up real nice when I get it in about 3.5 years.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Now, Logan is suggesting that you trade in your 2 Taurus curves and get a Raging Bull instead.
Ooh.
I mean, those curves are so curvy.
I mean, I'm telling you, it's funny. There's a rental curve at Centerfire, and I'm always trying to tempt people into grabbing that. Gotta check that out.
Yeah.
I remember when they came out with that gun, and their whole claim to fame was you can put it in your back pocket and it'll curve around your butt. And I was like, really? They're like, oh, it fits the contour of your butt.
Do you carry that with your holster that is as quiet as a Navy SEAL's footstep?
Navy SEAL.
Yes, absolutely. All the way at the bottom of it.
That's a good match. That's a good match.
So
take it and yank your pants up above your head to get it out.
So real quickly, Young Guns has me curious about something. He says my LGS said he's getting a Glock 17M, as in Mary, in for me to check out. Isn't that the same as the Gen 5? Now, you've got me curious. Is that an MOS? If it's an MOS, it's an MOS, right? Just optics ready. I'm not familiar with any other M models.
Is that the one that Larry Vickers was talking about, that it's some special, they called it an M? That might be the one Larry Vickers is talking about, but it was a special indication, and they only made so many of them, I think. I'm not.
Here, it's the Glock 17M. It's a duty. It's just duty oriented. I'm trying to see if there's anything weird about it.
Yeah, it's saying it's identical to the commercial version of the G17.
It just has the designation M on it, which still is kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, supposedly Larry Vickers has one, and he wanted it because it has the M, and they're really difficult to find or something. They're in demand, is what he was saying.
That's very innovative by Glock.
Okay, and he says it's the actual FBI gun. Well, again, I mean, it seemingly is internally and externally the same as a 17, but with the M designation. I'd have to dig a little bit deeper, but still, it's kind of cool. I mean, it's something a little bit weird and different. So if you're a Glock collector, that might be a cool thing.
Yeah, and I saw a used Glock 17C, which is the compensated. We've all, seen those or heard about them. And it was used, and they were asking $1,100 for it. And
now, what was this?
What?
What was it again?
It was a Glock 17C, the compensated.
Yeah, the C models, because they only do small batches of them. They tend to be pretty sought after, and they don't stay on shelves, used or new. They just don't.
Well, this was a used one for $1,100.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of believe it, especially if it was like I don't know if they did it in Gen 2, but they certainly did in Gen 3, and those are extremely difficult to find.
Okay. Well, I was just looking at it.
Fewer 17s than 19s, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Yeah, because I was like, man, that's a lot. I mean, I didn't know that they were. I've seen them before. I've seen the 19 and the 17, but I didn't know that they were that much.
That's expensive.
Yeah, Gillum saying he saw one in the store for $600. So I don't know. But this gun shop's pretty high that I saw it at anyway. But anything else that is floating your boat or got you kind of fancy over?
Not really.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing anything that's, it's just really getting me super excited.
I think it's 17. I have to say, I think it's kind of cool that you're finding stuff, whether new or old, it really doesn't matter. Stuff that's intriguing to you. I think that's pretty cool. I think that's kind of the way to do it. And take advantage of used prices where you can. As we've talked about before, so often used guns are basically new, maybe hardly used, maybe a little bit malnourished, but easy to fix nonetheless. I think that's a great thing to do, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I said. It's sometimes you just want to change things up a little bit, but you also get interested in some different things. And I mean, after a while, the polymer gets kind of boring in the fact that, I mean, there's not, we have this discussion of, well, what's the best polymer pistol, but is there really? I mean, we all have our biases and our interests and what we like the best, but at the end of the day, I mean, they all have fairly decent triggers, fairly decent ergonomics. They're built pretty damn well, good finishes, good everything, and then you kind of look at some of the steel and metal guns out there, and I've been really focusing on aluminum. I don't want really any heavy guns, but I started to realize, they're as carryable as anything else. Maybe even shoots a little bit better. You can always change springs out to make the triggers feel even lighter and more responsive. So I think overall, for me, like that's just where I'm at right now. It's probably going to change at some point, and I'll probably kick myself for getting rid of so many things. But at the same time, why the hell not, man? Just go for it.
Well,
I'm sorry. And like you said, the used market right now, at least where I'm at, it is so good, and people are not shooting their guns, and they come into these dealers, and they're friggin' unbelievably almost in perfect shape.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like me, what I decided this a long time ago, the guns that I really, really love and I want to make my own, that's what I'm decided to do, whether it be Cerakote, certain slide serrations, MOS, milling them, whatever I want to do, because those are guns I really love. I just don't love every single thing about them. But, a lot of those you can change. And, that's what I've chosen to do. I'm not saying I won't ever buy a new gun, because obviously I will, but, I mean, make them like you want them. Because we always try to go out there and find that special gun. Now, if it's really like that Ghost or something like that, where you're just not going to run into them, yeah, grab them up. But guns that you can just find on the shelf, you can always take those and make them like you want to also.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, with that gun, I mean, it's pretty much going to stay the way it is. I may just throw a hammer spring in there, but other than that, I mean, there's not much you can do anyway. You can't change the front sight because it's part of the slide. Yeah. But
well, actually, I've seen where they go into the sight and they'll actually drill it and they'll put a fiber optic in it for you.
Yeah, I know there's a place you can send it to, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to do it because it's like I said, it's in perfect shape, and I kind of want to keep the original.
Sure.
I mean, and on those guns, they have like the red dots that are painted in almost, and they're I mean, like in the best shape you can think of. I could not believe how good this gun was.
Yeah, if he's never shot it, I mean, he could have been a collector that just
he definitely was. I mean, he's handed in, I think, about 17 handguns. A lot of them are revolvers, which is kind of interesting. And he has there's another Colt that's blued. It's not a nickel or a stainless, but apparently he's got more. So I'm telling those guys, look, call me if there's anything. As a matter of fact, one of the guns that was there was a Belgium High Point.
Oh, cool.
And, everybody who worked there had their paws all over. They're like, you're not getting this one, man. This is ours.
Yeah, that's what I used to have. That's the one that I can kick myself for getting rid of, because especially if it's in really good condition. If that guy was a collector, it was probably immaculate. And there's no telling what they stole that gun from that guy for.
Oh, it's a shame too, because I know some of the guys that work there, and they're telling me some of the prices. I'm like, Jesus, I feel bad for the guy.
But they probably, he probably had a lot of, a lot. Not, I'm not saying a bunch. I'm saying a lot. They probably said, we'll give you X amount of dollars for the whole lot of guns. And, man, yeah, I would have jumped all over that. But like you said, sometimes, guys in gun stores, I know guys that have picked up crazy, beautiful guns for like nothing. So they get first shot at them a lot of times.
Yeah. So Art Lima is asking if we do any training classes. Now, Art, are you saying we teach any or take any?
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't teach any.
I teach gun yoga.
There you
go. Is it hot gun yoga?
Yes, it's
actually 17.
Bikram hot gun yoga.
He teaches waiting gun yoga because he has to wait on his guns.
Yeah, pretty much. That's it. I have to meditate while I wait the 3 months.
Yeah, you have to be patient.
Oh, yeah. I'm starting to work with new shooters at Centerfire, so I'm doing some very minor, I guess, training type of stuff. So
yeah. Well, I just took out my best friend's son, and he's actually a big airsoft shooter. And we went Saturday and shot. And what's funny, he knows the basics, but I was just showing him a better grip and stuff like that. And when he first started, he was shooting, pretty decent groups, but they were large. But when we got toward the end, he was shooting some pretty nice groups. And it was just a couple little things, that I was just showing him. Not that I'm a trainer, I'm not ever saying that, but just some basic stuff. And he was doing really well at the end. And man, he was just excited as hell. So it was a lot of fun, seeing a newer shooter, be that excited about it.
Yeah, I took some classes. Well, I don't know if they were real classes or not, but it was more job related than anything else. But you wouldn't think it by watching me shoot. Oh, it's funny.
Yeah, I think it. Yeah, and exactly. What Hell is the Rooster is saying. New shooters are the best. Because they listen and pretty much do everything you ask, and that's true.
I always get scared, man, when there's a new shooter next to me. I always like picture in my brain, I'm getting shot today.
Wow.
Because they scare me. Some of them scare the hell out of me. So
it's funny though. I've noticed because I've been spending more time on the range and helping out that sort of thing, and periodically, in fact, I was with some folks that were not from America. That's all I'm going to say. They never shot firearms or anything like that. Here's the thing, and stereotypes be damned. I was working with them. They were having so much fun. They were so much fun to work with. They were eager. They were willing to learn and listen and take their time and all that kind of stuff. Turned out to be a very pleasurable experience. Now, the two young men that were right beside them in the next booth, probably early 20s, very fit, very nice guys, extremely nice guys. But those guys were far more dangerous. There were several times where I had to jump in. Look, you can't be doing all this kind of stuff, wagging the thing around and everything, and just kind of trying to help them out, point them in the right direction and everything. And it turned out that the two guys that didn't even speak the language very well were far better off than the guys that had been shooting before. So I mean, again, stereotypes are not always what you think they would be. So interesting experience.
Yeah, at one time we pulled our target in because I wanted to show him his group, and pulled it in, and I was like, where the hell did those come from? We looked up at the top of the target, and there were 3.22 rounds. We weren't shooting a 22. The people beside us were shooting a 22, and they shot our target. And I looked over there, and I thought, well, it's going to be a little kid. And I looked over there, and it was probably a 16, 17-year-old boy, and it was his dad. But, I didn't yell at him or anything. I mean, he didn't hurt anything, but I was just like, man, you see it all sometimes.
Yeah, Rabbi makes the point, no bad habits to unlearn. That's exactly right. If you go to the range with somebody who's never shot a firearm before, and if you're able to point them in the right direction, some very basic fundamentals with grip and that sort of thing, oftentimes because they don't have the sensory corruption that we have, if you will, they tend to be just dialed in. I mean, this guy, this one gentleman that I was working with, his first two shots, so it was a silhouette target, and there was a target for the head and one for center mass. He center punched one of each of those, his first two shots. Everything else after that just went to hell. But the first two shots were unbelievable. And I was like, dude, you stop. I mean, you have done, don't ever shoot again. You've done exactly what you need to do. Walk away and go to the next sport. That was perfect. I mean, it's just, again, no bad habits. That's very true.
Yeah, and it makes you feel good when you're, helping somebody and you see them getting better pretty much instantly. It's always a good thing.
Yep.
But, and I was asking, I asked some questions, 17, so I'll ask you a couple of them. Sure. If the new James Bond is going to be a woman, but if it was a man or whatever, or even a woman.
Did you say a woman?
Yes. The new James Bond is supposed to be a woman. But anyway, okay. Do what?
Jessica Bond.
Yeah. Okay. But, we all know what James Bond's carried in the past, what he's famous for. But if you could modernize it, what gun would you like to see James Bond carry in the movies?
Man, in the movies. Modern gun that James Bond should carry in the movies.
I mean, it doesn't have to be modern, but just something that he's not carrying now.
You mean the PPK isn't what they should be? All right, okay.
Yeah.
I know that once they had the P99, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know what would be kind of neat? A Q5 steel frame.
Oh.
That'd be kind of cool to see that big boy come out,
Yeah, and see, I said, when I think we both kind of said, like the stainless P01 or a stainless 75. I think that'd be kind of classic and, a little different.
I figure, if you look at a lot of the James Bond movies, they always use some form, well, not always, but a lot of times they get Walthers, they have the PPK, they use the P99 AS. And I mean, the PPQ is it's a little dated, but the Q5 steel frame would be pretty cool, man. A little big for James Bond in his tuxedo, or Jane Bond, whatever her name is going to be. I don't know.
When she's walking around, leaning a little bit to the right.
There you go. Yeah. Oh, dancing with her high heels on, and she'll probably have it in a garter, one of those garter belt holders.
Well, I doubt it. She's probably going to wear a pantsuit or something because that's the way it's got to be.
Could be a Hillary thing. You never know.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. But and then John Wick 4. Okay, if Keanu Reeves was going to do the John Wick 4, now he's already used the STI and used the Glocks in the past, but what gun would you like to see for John Wick 4?
John Wick 4. Man. What the hell would he want to use? And I don't. Oh man, I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe like a P10F, large capacity. Something like that. It'd be kind of cool to see that. But I don't know. I mean, I like a Caracol. That's it.
Yeah, it wouldn't work, and he'd get shot right off the bat.
You can throw it at people.
Yeah, I was saying like 2 stainless, Shadow 2, but optic ready. He needs to go to the red dot now.
But he's kind of like that classic taste of the 1911,
I know. Well, but he used that. He has used that.
Mm-hmm.
When the guy said, "Oh, here's what you get," and you get like so much ammo.
Yeah, I think you gave him like 4 rounds or something like that.
Colt 45 or something. Yeah.
7 rounds. That's all he got. Rabbi is saying a 25 Tomcat. That'd be good.
Yeah. But all right, and I was kind of thinking about this the other day. Like with the past year, okay, if you could say what company has came out with a gun, and you can even go back a year if you want, what company has came out with a gun that you really kind of thought it was going to do great, but it was like kind of a complete flop, if you can pick one out. And we all know about the Hudson, so you can't really say the Hudson.
Hudson.
Yeah, you can't say the Hudson.
This past year, that was a flop.
Like they hyped it up, and everybody was excited about it, and then it just kind of went. And you're probably not going to like my answer, or I mean, not personally, but I mean,
what would be? I think I can. I don't know. I'm going to go out and say, in my opinion, even though I love the gun quite a bit, probably the biggest flop, but it probably has to do with marketing and everything else, is the Beretta APX line.
Okay. Yeah. That's a good one.
I think I'd say, and it's one of my favorites, but it hasn't seemed to ever catch on, would be the Archon.
Okay. I'm going to say this. Some people might hate me for it, but I'm going to say the Mossberg pistol. They hyped that thing up so freaking hard. And I know a lot of people, some people bought it. Like, I know you shot it, Humble or Honest shot it, and really liked it. But man, those things, you can buy them for nothing now. Yeah. And I know that it was in a competitive market, like with Shield and the G43 and the G48 and all that stuff. But they even had like 3 or 4 versions of it, like the gold plated and all this other stuff. And I mean, they're giving them away now, and nobody's buying them. So, and there was a lot of hype behind that. It's been 100 years since they made that pistol and all that, but it just really didn't take off.
Yeah, it's funny though. Like Harry is saying that seems to be gaining a little bit of traction, but not much. And Rabbi was saying for the price, it's a good gun, and I would totally agree. I mean, It works. It does the exact same job as something like a Shield, whatever. So it really wasn't a bad gun. It wasn't my favorite necessarily. The trigger was not my favorite, but otherwise, it did the job. I mean, the price, especially getting things like night sights and all that kind of stuff, it was kind of tough to beat, and taking Glock 43 mags. But I think one of its biggest detriments is the fact that it's a 6+1 in its regular flat magazine. I mean, in this day and age with the 65 or even the Shield or some of these guns that have even just a round or 2 more, it's tough to justify that.
Well, see that, and I think, just imagine what they spent on the marketing for that gun. I mean, it was a lot. And then to have 3 editions of it. I understand if you came out with one and it didn't do that well, you're probably not going to come out with the other 2. But it's like almost immediately they came out with 3 versions, and all this other stuff. And there was so much hype around it. And I don't think it's a bad gun, but it just was in a really competitive market that had already been proven. And now, I mean, I saw one the other day for, I want to say it was like $235 or $225 or something. And I was just like, wow, that's cheap.
Now, on the flip side, what about a sleeper success over the last, let's say, year or thereabouts? A sleeper success. And what I mean by that is it's not selling like hotcakes, maybe like 365 or something like that, even though a lot of them were potentially broken. But something that has done well and has garnered basically nothing but good reviews and good commentary from just purchasers in general.
Well, and I mean, it's been out for a while, but I've really never seen a negative review on a Shadow 2. And I'm not just saying that because I really like the gun, but I've never seen a negative review on it. And I know it's been out more than a year.
Listen to that gerbil run.
Man, that's really a tough one because, I mean, I'll probably say this, but I don't know because it had a really tight competitor, but I'll probably say the Glock 45. They came out with it, then they came out with the MOS version, and it was really pretty much right after the 19X. And they kind of hyped it, but then it kind of went away. But I think people are still buying them, and I think they're still pretty popular. But, and of course, the P10F, I think the P10F and the P10C and the P10S has done really well. But I was trying not to be biased on that. But I would say the Glock 45.
17, what do you think?
Let's see. Really quick. Art said the Arex Delta, by the way, was one of those guns that was a big disappointment. I agree with that.
Yeah,
Totally.
And
Agree.
then somebody also asked about the APX. Nothing wrong with the APX. It never got the hype it deserved. I love the APX, just not the hype
I think
it ever got.
I think part of the problem is it did get some hype in the very beginning, but it wasn't necessarily positive. And so much of it was because of the styling of it, with the exception of one or two people saying that, the second it gets wet, the serrations don't matter at all. But otherwise, I think a lot of the picking on for that gun was simply because of cosmetics. And I think you're right. It's a good gun. It doesn't blow me away, but it is a solid.
Right. What would I consider a sleeper hit?
Yeah.
I don't think you can consider any CZ a sleeper hit because they're not sleepers. I mean, it is the rage right now for most people.
Yeah,
I do think the sleeper hit is the M&P 2.0 series. I really do. I think those guns are never hyped up as much as they should. Yeah, they're as common as Glock maybe, but those guns are incredibly reliable, really good shooting guns, made fairly well. And I've never had any issues with mine. So I personally think that has been the sleeper. And again, that's been out longer than a year. But I still think to this day, this is the one gun, for whatever reason, people forget about. And I don't think they should, man, because it is a solid handgun.
Yeah, and a good price point, too.
Very good price point. Yeah. And a lot of good options, except for, the red dot optic ready.
Yeah, but it's coming. What do you think, KS?
Well, it's funny. A lot of people are saying the SIG-X Compact, and I would say that is a little bit, except I don't think that's a sleeper. I think that is just done extremely well, and I can see why. So I actually think the Shield EZ, it had some good reviews in the beginning, and then it kind of faded away into obscurity. But they sell like hotcakes, at least in this area. It's tough for shops to keep them in stock. Because you get a lot of folks who they want that easy experience, right? Whether it's elderly or you've got some issues or whoever it is, it's a fantastic gun and people seem to love it. And the rental side, when people come back and they've rented that and they've tried some other 380s, that is always the winner. It is always the winner. That's the one that they want.
Yeah, and they sell well here too. Matter of fact, that the gold trigger one that just came out, they're already selling those things pretty well here.
Well, I'll tell you what, I saw the Performance Center, not the silver one, but the black one and the gold one.
Yeah, that was
about the most butt ugly thing I think I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it's a plastic, gold painted trigger and all that kind of stuff. The black one actually looked kind of cool because it was a little bit more normal, but it had the slide cutouts and upgraded sights and everything. But just the standard, normal, everyday one, that's all you need. I mean, it really is. You don't need something that's $50 more for some bling that doesn't. It's not.
Well, the gold matches your grill.
Well, that's true. That is.
So let me ask you this. This is kind of related to what you guys were just asking. What is one gun that came out that no one has ever really heard of, used, shot, looks at, cares about?
You mean ever?
Well, this like the past year, kind of along the same lines as what the original question was. So it's out, but it's like nobody, you don't ever see it.
I would say actually the Delta. I don't think very many people care about that. I hear almost nobody talk about it. The video was sort of a standstill. Not that necessarily says anything, but
right.
I don't think that crossed many people's radar. A few, but not very many.
Right. What do you think, Big Johnson?
Well, and Dennis Jones is saying it too. The Caracol. I just and I was really going to say that because I know that you bought one, but it's just like it. I played with it in NRA, and I was like, yeah, it's okay, but I just didn't. It's really going up against a lot of great competitors.
Sure. Yep.
So.
I'm gonna say I just lost it. Hold on, I can't remember what it's called. I'm gonna say the Lionheart Regulus.
Oh,
yeah.
Very good.
Like awfully expensive gun that you never really hear or see about.
Yeah, you saw a few reviews, and then it was in nothing.
Well, they replaced reviews. I mean, those guns.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Because even the regular Lionheart, I've played around with them. And matter of fact, I mean, hell, they've got one almost brand new. Now it's not the high end one, but it's the regular one for like $525 used with the bag and everything. And I'm just like, you know,
You're
it's just,
better
there's just nothing exciting about them.
better off getting an AREX 0.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you are.
I mean, those are good guns.
Yeah. Yeah, Rodema, I've got tons of mags. I don't know if you have mag extensions or, you know, if they're full size mags, you know, just hit me up on Instagram if you want to. So,
Are they the new ones? They're old ones?
yeah, well, it says the P10, but it could be the old P10. I'm just wondering if they're the dual cuts or not.
Yep. I have an old P10 mag that I can't do a damn thing with.
You can actually cut them. You can Dremel them. I've seen people do them, but I'm not going to waste the time. But I have old P10s and I love them. They work great.
I have a boatload of Glock mags.
Yeah, you can give that to me, KS. I'll shoot it.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't want the Glock mags. They're all 10 rounders. No offense.
No, I said the P10.
Well,
Oh, hey, Art. Art is asking if the H9 has a chance of being revived. Wasn't it a good concept, just poorly executed? What do you guys think?
I don't think anybody's going to pick up that train wreck. And not, I think it was a good concept. The only thing is, you know, there's parts still sitting that the company that made them for Hudson are owed. So, you know, they've got tons of those laying around. I just don't think anybody's going to pick that back up and try to, you know, either buy the patent or try to take on that concept, because for one, even when they were selling them, they weren't selling very well because of the price point. But then also some of them had problems, and as you know, and I know some ran great and probably still run great, but I just don't think anybody's going to take that thing on.
I'm also sure if you're going to buy the rights to that gun, you're going to have to buy the rights of all the crap that's left over that people still owe money to, and nobody's going to take that. I mean, that's just
if it's already been filed in bankruptcy, you know, they could have taken the patent. It depends on how it was written, but it could have taken the bankruptcy or the copyright. They could have held it in bankruptcy too. So you're right; they'd have to buy everything to take it.
Actually, if they just buy the patent, the designs, they're not stuck with the problems.
Yeah, that's the thing. Depends on how it was filed.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, no, I doubt it. I think at this point, if somebody tried to do that, the risk of doing that would be so ginormous. I would agree that the concept was brilliant, and I maintain to this day, when it worked, it was incredible to shoot. It was so much fun to shoot, but it just didn't work very much. But the execution, I think, was just not very good at all. Not only did they have a lot of problems out the door, they didn't take the time to figure out and fix the problems permanently before they went on to the next thing. That is suicide for a startup company. That is absolute suicide. You can't do that. So no, I think the brand, the concept, I think, is probably too soiled in people's minds.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think anybody that tried to even copy it in a way, people would be like, oh, no, that's the Hudson. I don't want anything to do with that.
It's possible.
So let's see here. Okay. Yeah, we actually already answered that one. What's coming up on your channels? We're getting kind of close. Anything coming up that's exciting other than 17 waiting on guns?
I'm going to actually make a video of me just kind of staring at the door, you know, or the mailbox, you know, waiting for my little green coupon. Yeah. So I may actually do like a spoof video on something like that, you know.
You ought to do it chasing the UPS man or something.
Yep. Just say, well, wait. And
coupon. No. Where's my coupon?
Don't do it with a gun.
No. That would be bad. That would be very bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I got to start thinking of stuff to do because, you know, I don't really have anything new, but you know, I'm talking to the guy who did the 92. So hopefully I'll be getting that back soon, which I'm super excited about because he did a fantastic friggin' job on that gun.
Nice.
So hopefully that'll come back soon. I'm just waiting to communicate with when he needs the funds and all that other stuff. So, but other than that, I mean,
well, at some point, when time permits, we'll do the Combat Master. By the way, this is just incredibly fun to shoot. I've had fun shooting it and not taking the camera with me. One of the reasons why I haven't done anything with a video yet. Anyway, and then a couple of smaller product type things, and then after that, I don't know. We'll have to see.
Now, what you do when you do that, you need to wear a suit, have blood on your face and on your shirt,
Yes.
and then pull it out of the suit. That's what you need to do.
Yes, absolutely. Another thing I'm waiting on, and Dennis B, and I don't know if Dennis B is here anymore, but he was asking if I was getting sick again, and I'm not. But in my older age, I've developed allergies in a very, very bad way. And so I am just, I'm so stuffed up right now. So I really don't want to be on camera. I don't want to be talking on the camera because I don't want that immortalized. So I'm trying to wait for things to clear up before I do anything.
No, I hear you. Well, I have 2 that are supposed to be here tomorrow, and these are the 2 final ones, and I'm done for a while. I mean, I've got pretty much everything hooked up like I want. So got a bunch of red dots and all that stuff. And I've already filmed the video. Everybody's been asking me about all the differences between the red dots. So I've got a video that's going to be dropping on that. And these are my opinions, not like a professional shooter or not like the store-bought videos. These are going to be my true impressions on these. And it's going to be the goods and the bads. So I've got that'll be out maybe Friday. I'll throw it out and see what people think about it. And it's, I don't know, I think it's like 17 or 18 minutes long, but it's a bunch of really good information. I think that somebody might be going from iron sights to red dots and kind of what to expect and things like that. So hopefully it'll do well and people will appreciate it.
Yeah,
Nice.
Sounds good. Now, the only thing I ask people to do is to go to Instagram, find Darkstorm Industries, and I want everybody to pepper them with requests for them to send me a New York compliant AR-15. So that's what I'm requesting everybody to do tonight.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's just a favor for me,
Yeah, we'll do that.
I'm not paying $1,500 for it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. There you go.
So.
You could just pay each one of your subscribers like $10 and
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, and I did get some mag extensions for the P10F. I got some for the Shadow 2, and they're orange. Got some orange ones. Imagine that. So
You got a thing for orange, that's for sure.
yeah, I love my orange. Got to have my orange. But any final questions from the family out there before we head out? Just want to see if any. Want to make sure we didn't miss anything. I know we were talking and stuff like that. Let's see here. Yep, I need a Bang energy drink. I love those things. And I don't know if this is happening to you guys, but the last 2 videos I put out were completely demonetized. I mean, from the second I put them out, I've asked for them to be remonetized because there's nothing wrong with them. And they basically came back and said, these are not available to be remonetized.
Yeah, I'm having a different experience. Videos I've released since everything unfolded, like the CMMG and the Steyr, the new Steyr, and whatever it was that I just released, I can't even remember now. They've lasted a week to 2 weeks monetized, and then they immediately get shut down. And they say they've been reviewed, they've been manually reviewed by a human, but I never said to review them or anything like that. So.
Yeah. Are you getting completely demonetized or limited?
A couple are limited and a couple have been completely shut off.
Yeah, it's been kind of weird because they've been limiting every single live chat I've done.
Oh yeah.
So it'll be green for like 600 views and all of a sudden, boom, limited for I don't even know what. So then I challenge it, and then usually within 12 hours it goes back to being monetized. But they've done that for every single live chat that I've done.
Yeah.
They've been going after live chats for a while. Anymore, if I do a live chat, it's immediately demonetized. It's totally blacked out. You don't even have the choice.
This one probably will be too.
Yeah.
So
very odd.
But yeah, I mean, right off the bat, I mean, I hit it, to enter it, and boom, demonetized. I'm like, really? So
yeah, it's Rabbi's right though. The live chats. I mean, who cares? Those things. I average 1,000 to 1,500 views. In the grand scheme, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, and I think also, and I've said this before, but I think we're kind of, some of us are probably being shadow banned because my views used to be really high and now they're like nothing, so, and it could just be people don't watch it, but I don't think it's as bad as it has been recently. But whatever, like I said, I'm just going to keep doing it and, till they kick me off. So whatever.
Yep.
But anybody have any final thoughts?
Nope.
Happy Wednesday.
Yeah.
Hump day. Well, I appreciate you guys being on. I appreciate the family out there. You know, check us out on Instagram if you haven't. We put a lot of stuff on there that we really don't even put on YouTube. Stay tuned. You know, we'll have the next chat. I'm not sure whose it is, but it'll be next Wednesday. We'll put out reminders ahead of time and everything. And I appreciate everyone being on.
Can I just say one last thing there, Big J?
Yes, go ahead.
So just really quick, because of personal events in my life, I would like for everybody to go out there, and if they have a loved one who has suffered or is suffering or not of cancer, I would like for all of you to think about those who are. You know, keep them in your prayers. If you know any local places that need some assistance or anything, please go help. There's a lot of people suffering from this terrible disease, and it is absolutely destroying people and their lives. So I'll just leave it with that. No, definitely agree. Well said. But I appreciate you, gentlemen. I appreciate the family out there. If you have any questions, leave them afterwards. We'll try to answer them. And everyone have a great night. Have a great night, guys. Carry on, guys.
Bye.
See ya. All right.